Okay, let's start today.
Yes.
Hello, welcome. Today we
Hello.
have Chico. I'm going to interview Chico, and Chico is one of the best listened to. How do you call it? How do you call it in Dutch, English?
Composers, music composers.
Well, you're one of the best music composers or best listened to music composers in Holland. You just said every 3 minutes we had you would hear something of you on the radio, which is really nice. But I don't want to hear, or I would love to hear about the music, but I'm not asking you to say anything about the music. I'm asking you about your journey. And because I follow you on Instagram, I follow you on Facebook, we've seen each other 1 or 2 times in Holland. And what I've noticed is that you have gone on a path of, um, you call it high vibrational food, more of a raw food. Yeah, you're on the raw food path, if I can say so. Um, and
Yeah.
I'd love to see all the things that you're doing. You moved from Holland, you moved to the Philippines, if I'm right. So you
Yes.
had a nice, very beautiful journey. But Chico, tell me a little bit, where is your name from? Because your name is not really Dutch, as mine is also not.
No, my dad's from Portugal. So my mother's is Dutch lady. My dad, they're both not here anymore. Bless them. But my dad's Portuguese. My mom's Dutch, and that's where I get this name. And Chico is really Francisco, how they would say in Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
So my full name would be like Francisco Lemos de Sousa Travassa. That's a lot of name. But in Portugal, they will say like Chico. That's what they will say. And here they will say Chico. Because in Portugal, they will say with the O, they will speak it out like U. But the Dutch people will say O, so it's Chico. So
Okay.
that's where it came from.
Nice.
Mm.
Good to know. So, but you're not Dutch, but like half Dutch. You lived in Holland. Um, but what
I've
happened
been
with,
ra-
hmm?
I've been born in Holland. So I've been born and raised in Holland. Also in the Dutch culture. My dad was a Portuguese, but he spoke Dutch in the house. So, but of course, it's in my blood. It's in my blood, and still have many family there. And yeah,
Ah, nice. And do you, I mean, you have been, let's say you have been eating very normal, like what we call the sad diet, like the
yes, yes. I like everybody else, like most people. I was just eating what everybody was eating, and I remember when I was becoming like, what was it, like 40? I was getting like all these kind of little health things, pain here, pain there, this kind of stuff, and I had like chronic ear infections. And I went to my doctors, and they had to clean my ears every 3 months because otherwise I had infections, and they could just not tell me where it came from, and they just told me like, well, you're just getting a bit older and all this blah blah blah, which I find a bit rare, of course. And then I started to do some investigation on the internet, and I found out that it had to do with dairy products ear infections.
dairy
So
milk.
dairy,
Yeah.
yeah, milk, cheese, this kind of stuff.
What we
Uh,
all eat in Holland a lot.
exactly. So that that woke me up because before I never made the connection between health and food. I never made that connection. So I stopped the dairy products, and it went away. It never came back, and that was a big problem in my life. It seriously was a big problem. Well, that was just
Especially
started.
especially as
Yeah.
a composer.
Mm, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yes, especially that. But I knew how to prevent it as long as I went to the ear doctor every 2 months to clean out my ears. I wasn't getting infections. But if I didn't clean out the ears, I was getting infections. So my body was getting rid of mucus. through the years. That what was happening, and of course, that was the mucus from the dairy products, and that was that really kickstarted my journey, and that followed up with I was on a holiday with my family in Canada, and I remember at the time we were vegetarians. We really started to be a bit conscious, but that was more because of the kids. Because yeah, we already found out that meat was not the best choice, and of course, when you get children, you want to raise them in the best way that you can. So we decided to be a vegetarian family, and we were looking for a vegetarian restaurant, and then we ended up in a raw food restaurant, and we didn't know what that was. So, but we thought, well, let's go for it. We're open minded. And I remember I ordered what they call like a lasagna, a raw lasagna, and it was so good. It was so good. It was made of these layers of zucchini with tomato and beautiful Italian sauce. Only it wasn't warm, but it was so good. So I ordered another one, and I also took a takeaway with me. That good it was. I was enthusiastic. And I remember that night I started to get headaches and headaches. And then we started to Google that, and then we came onto the word detoxing. Detoxing, what is that? And then we find out that like this whole connection between that we basically are, yeah, consuming foods that are so not natural to who we truly are, and that they are creating a lot of health issues, and that totally kickstarted my journey. And I remember I went raw overnight. I just decided like this is it because I'm the type of person who wants to be the best version of himself. So I went for it. I totally went for it, and this was in 2007. So I've been living this raw lifestyle for 13 years now, and living it 100%. So I never eat cooked foods or other kinds of stuff. I just love it. I don't crave any cooked foods. I love it, and it ended up because it ended up with me eventually living on a tropical island now in the fruit paradise. Because that's what I wanted, a fruit
That's what
paradise.
you wanted. Wow. And but
Yeah.
how? Just so tell me a little bit more for the people who don't know this very well. So you
Yeah.
have been, you went raw overnight. So and
Yes.
raw means basically you eat greens, everything uncooked.
Yes. And of course, in the beginning, I went in eating transitional raw foods,
Yes.
and transitional raw foods. That is like lasagna. It's pretty high fat food. Traditional raw foods. It's with a lot of nuts, and which is okay because that's what you need when you come from a cooked food diet. You're used to that numb feeling. It's pretty dense food, cooked food, and to go directly on like high fruit, that's a big step. That's a big step. Um, so I went into the traditional food, and that ended up with, yeah, I don't like all these labels, but I think you can call me fruitarian. Fruitarian. I mean, I think for 98% I eat fruits and some leafy greens and veggies, but it's all fruits basically, all fruit,
And
fruit.
what is it that what are the health benefits? What is the first thing that you noticed? Like your ears, of course, for example, but what is more?
Uh, More, I had like little kinds of pains in my body, little kind of pains on my back, and now I know they used to come up and they used to go away again, and now I know they were like nerve pains, they were like inflammations in the body. But for me, the whole health thing of raw foods, which I like to prefer to call high vibrational foods because it's food with a very high vibration. That health thing, that is just an extra. What I think the biggest part of high vibrational foods is that you connect with who you truly are, and that you start to sense different, and that you start to feel different.
Hmm.
And because when you start to feel different, you start to vibrate a different emotion. And what I realize is, and what I experience, the whole universe is working on vibrations. It's not working on words or this kind of stuff. It's working on vibrations. So when you are vibrating on a very high frequency and you are feeling good, you you will attract that same kind of vibration into your life. And
this is important what you say, because you're basically saying that if you, because you already said cooked food numbs you down.
Yes.
It numbs your feelings, and it basically causes a lot of times inflammation. And this is very hard for people to understand, I think, that foods are so important.
But well, it's that. It's that food. That there is nothing in there. I mean, when you eat like high vibrational foods, raw foods, it contains like an original blueprint of nature. We are nature. I mean, we live in these cities, but we are nature. In essence, we are nature. And when we start consuming the foods like nature provides it for us, like it's intended for us, we take part in the unending circle of life. That's what's happening. And you tap into a kind of energy that you cannot put into words. I mean, for me, what it does is like, it brings up all your emotions in your life that you have to deal with, this kind of stuff. That's what cooked food, they numb that down. They numb that down, you know. If you want to eat, if you don't want to feel anything, just eat a big pasta. You don't feel anything. You just want to sit down. And when you eat high vibe foods,
you say about numbing down, and then also getting more in touch with your feelings.
Yes.
Is it, because a lot of people are very afraid of those feelings.
Well, yeah, maybe that is. But then I ask you, are you living your dream life? Are you happy where you are? Are you waking up every morning and you say like, damn, I'm so happy to be alive? Because I am.
Exactly.
Because I am. Yeah. And that's because I was willing to face these feelings. And when you start to follow your heart, because that's what we talk about, high vibrational foods, raw foods will bring you more in contact with who you truly are. And if you want to follow who you truly are, you're going to be faced with your fears. There is no way around it. And your fears, that those are all the programs that you learned when you grow up. Like, oh, you have to work hard to make money, or life is not easy, all this kind of stuff. But that's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. Life just reflects what you think. That's what you vibrate. So when you start to get rid of all these programs, your emotions start to change. And when your emotions change, your feelings change. And when your feelings change, your reality change. That's how it goes. And that's how I'm living a life now that's full of abundance. I bought land here. I'm building a beautiful place. It's awesome. I'm just living my dream life, basically. But this all happened by facing all my fears.
But this is so funny. So this is so funny. You're living your dream life. You change the way you eat. You face your fears, as what you say, and I believe that it's really not easy, those kind of things. But now you're in a beautiful tropical place, living the best life. Yep. I mean, you are living the life that everybody's dreaming about.
Yes, and now we get to this. I'm writing a book about this. And because I think that high vibrational foods, they're going to create the big shift in the 21st century. That's what this planet needs. We need this. When we start eating the foods that's not been altered by fire and all this kind of stuff, or with crazy ingredients, and it's just like natural foods, we start to vibrate harmony. We start to vibrate compassion. We start to vibrate love. I mean, it
And
doesn't make sense. It doesn't
just,
make sense that we want to hurt another being or another animal. It doesn't make sense. That's not who we are.
but
We
this,
are pure love. Yeah.
but this is so nice because most of the people who are preaching this, what you're saying, are people who are like poor and smoke weed all day. You're not like that.
No, 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 no. I even came to the point in my life that I had it all. I have it all anyway, but I had it all in the terms of the houses, the cars, supercars. I was driving supercars, not sports cars, supercars. And I came to the point it wasn't enough. I wasn't happy. The only thing I realized was like, I wanted more all the time. People are always, that's the trap of of life. People are always wanting to fill the emptiness inside with stuff from outside. And the only way we can fill that emptiness is by working on ourselves, is watching, facing our fears and do something with it and finding out that it's all not that bad. It's all not that bad. The minute you start facing your fears, you will find out they're not as big as you think you are, as you think they are. And that will change you. You know, we live here in a free will universe. There is no God or angel is just going to come down and help you. Yeah, there is a God. That's all there. It's all there. Source, universe, however you want to call it. It's all the same energy. But you have to choose. You have to choose in your life. And once you choose, the whole universe will align and think things will come onto your path. And then you get these situations like being somewhere at the right moment, at the right time. I mean, I'm in a state of consciousness that when I think about things, they start to manifest around me. It's like that. It is really is like that. But
Well,
this comes with a lot of self work. This comes with eating high vibrational foods, meditating daily, hours, this kind of stuff. Going deep within to reach that point of who we truly are. And I think this is a big thing of high vibe foods. When you start to embrace the high vibe foods, it will wake up your spiritual side. Definitely, it will wake up your spiritual side. It will.
but for so many of us, it's so
Hmm.
far away, you know, that high vibrational food, that raw food, you know, how to, you know, go from like when you're eating hamburgers.
Yes.
And because people will say every time, because I've heard it a lot of times also, we've been cooking for like thousands of years. We've been using
Mhm.
fire for thousands of years. So why won't you cook?
But that's only thousands of years. But we're only talking a few thousand years. But 70,000 years ago, this planet was a whole different place. You know, this was a whole tropical planet. And now we're going to talk about channel information. So I don't know if you want to go there, but you know, this was a
Yeah.
tropical planet and everything was tropical. And there came a certain moment and things changed. Like we also had the time of Atlantis. There's been civilizations before. But in the tropical times, we were just eating only fruits. I mean, the fact that we are wearing clothes, that's already showing us that we are tropical beings. We got heaters in our house. I mean, and if people say it's too far fetched for me to make that step, I think it all starts with like, are you happy where you are in your life? Are
So
you living your dream life?
that would be like the first question. Are you happy with your life as you are doing now? And if that is not the
Exactly.
case, let's try and change that step by step.
Yes, and if you don't want to change, enjoy the suffering. That's also okay because then it's suffering. I mean, we live in a society that people are happy when it's Friday. We live in a society because it's weekend. We live in a society when people come home and they need to drink a glass of wine just to relax.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like big suffering to me. Big suffering, big suffering. And the only thing they do is chase money, and they forget. who they are, just trying to fill that emptiness. And you can only fill that emptiness by connecting back to nature. When
Now,
you start,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, if I can
when
ask
you,
you another question, is
yes,
it because it's interesting to me because um, if you are successful, isn't this step
yeah,
easier than when you're not successful? It's like with your health. If you're healthy, you're perfectly fine. You say, I don't want to change. This is okay. And you never think about your health. It's the same, I think, is it the same with money that if you have money, it's easy, then you never think about money. But the moment you have no health, no money, how does it work then?
well, the funny thing is that for me, if we talk about money, the big abundance came when I was on this path. That's when my big abundance came. That's when the big chunk came, basically. That's when I was getting in positions and getting jobs coming my way, that it was like, oh my god, am I really doing this? Am I really getting these kind of opportunities? These kinds start to happen. These kind of things start to happen. But you know, this conversation will it's going in a whole other way, because everything is spiritual.
Yeah.
Everything is spiritual, and that's the whole thing. And if you want to have more money, what are you saying on a vibrational level? On a vibrational level, you're vibrating, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. Because why would you want money? Because you ain't got it. So you have to feel rich to attract money. You cannot feel unhealthy and think that food's going to make you healthy. You have to feel healthy and know that the food you're eating is going to make you healthy. Then you will be healthy. You have to vibrate that. And that's what everything, and that's what I mean with everything is spiritual. The mind is much bigger than the food. I mean, there are people who are not eating raw food and they're really vibrant. They are there. They are there. They are there as well. I don't think raw food is the answer to any kind of health issue. My mother was a raw foodist, and she became raw foodist after me, and she died of cancer, even though she was a raw foodist.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was like a really wake up call, because before I used to think like somebody had cancer, like, oh, just go eat raw foods, you heal from cancer with raw foods. Well, some people do, but some people don't.
So that's when
So
you say it's an energy thing also.
it's an energy thing. I mean, it's not just the food, it's a whole holistic approach. If you ain't got the right thoughts, if you don't love yourself, all this kind of stuff, if you make yourself small in life, you know, if you're not living if you're not living what you love to do, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get sick. And the universe is always communicating with you. It's communicating with you through your feelings. It's communicating through you if something feels good or not feels good. But are you listening to it? That's the whole thing. And if you don't listen to it, the next thing what's going to happen, then things in your surroundings are not going to go well. Things are. It's like you're going upstream. Everything goes difficult, and you still keep ignoring it. Don't worry, you'll get bigger, because on the end of the day, you're going to get sick. That's how it works.
But this is so interesting because I don't think people understand the connection that you're saying. So I'm very, very happy that you explain this because people
Mm-hmm.
want to feel good. Of course, everybody wants to feel good, but they don't know how. They don't. They get scared. They cannot clean up their
Well,
emotions. So much
well,
things
well.
are happening.
First of all, that's why I'm writing a book, who's explaining this in very easy language. But there's also a group, but that's for the people who attract that in their reality and who want to make the change. Because there's also a big group of people who just want to have like, just give me the solution pill. It doesn't work like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. You have to do the work for it. You have to do the work. I mean, you cannot expect to have muscle and not using the muscles. You have to use the muscle to get some muscle. And it's the same with this. But when you start taking the steps, the universe will take you by the hand. That's how it goes. But it has to be with you. basically it's consistently it's facing your fears, facing your fears. You can only grow if you look at stuff that's uncomfortable in your life. You have to get into uncomfortable places to grow. Otherwise, no growing is possible. So you need an attitude for that. You need an attitude for that. Or just be really happy where you are in your life. But if you're not, change it or enjoy the suffering.
But what I find also very interesting with you, I've met a lot of rich people. It's not or rich also in what they have, but also in their minds. You are a very, very nice person.
Oh, thank you.
You've always, since I've met you, you've always been warm, nice. You know, those are the things that you never get angry. You are very high vibrational, I would say.
Well, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, but that's exactly what I want to ask you. How?
But how do I do that? Yeah, but I have to tell you that that's conscious. It's a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice. My life until I was 19 or 20 years of age was like a total mess. I had no self-worth at all. I had no self-worth. I was almost getting ready to be a criminal. I've been kicked out of every school. No, it just didn't work. I just didn't fit in anywhere. And then I came in contact with self-empowering books when I was about 20 years of age, 19 or 20. And these were very old books. They were books like more than 100 years old. And I started to implement that information. And why could I do that? The same thing that I'm explaining now to all these people, like, are you happy where you are? My life was such a mess. I was ready to embrace everything. I was ready to embrace everything because, you know, I was ready to die. I mean, my life was just a mess. And when I started to embrace these principles, like deliberately choosing how you feel, and when you start making that a habit, things change. I mean, before I get out of bed, I visualize how my day should be. I deliberately choose every time not to see things that are not in alignment with who I want to be. I deliberately choose not to see that. I just totally ignore that. Totally ignore that. I only look at what's beautiful, what's good in life, because I have no influence on other people's reality. That's their journey. The only thing I can take care of is that I am feeling awesomely good, and that will vibrate to others. And hopefully I inspire them.
This is such very good information. I really like the things that you're explaining. Because this will help a lot of people. A lot of people really don't know where to go with their lives. Okay, let me ask you. Now you live somewhere else, and you're about to write a book, or you're writing a book.
I am writing it. Yeah, I am writing it already.
How happy? I mean, what is it now? And what part of your life are you now?
Well, I came to the part of my life, like I said, I was chasing success for a long time, and I came to the part like in the eyes of others, I had it all, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. I could go where I want to do, buy what I wanted to buy, and I wasn't happy at all. And then life, what I was just telling you, like life will start to show you that things are not flowing anymore. And are you going to listen to it? Are you going to listen to it? The universe starts to communicate with you, and it starts with like thoughts like, maybe I don't want to do this. But on the other hand, you got other thoughts saying, yeah, but you cannot change your life because, etc., 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 this kind of stuff, you know? And then I ignore that. Then I start to crash my cars and things like that. You know, things are going really wrong in your life. Then I remember I was also here in Philippines because I used to travel every couple of months to places in the world to go to awesome fruit places and eat durians and stuff like that. And I was here, and then I get dengue fever.
Oh.
Now I don't know if you know what dengue fever is.
Uh-huh.
No, dengue fever is like a mosquito But there is no cure for that. And people die. People die. You get like extreme high fevers.
Mhm.
It's a serious thing. And I had dengue fever, and I was lying here on my own in the jungle, and I had no fear. I was like in a total trance, and the only thing I could think is like, okay, what kind of present am I going to find in this state of being? You know, why everything that happens in my life? I always think like, why is this happening? It's never somebody else's fault. I'm always attracting every situation in my life. I cannot only attract the good stuff, I also attract the bad stuff. I'm doing the same stuff. It's all me. It's all vibration. And then I came to the realization when I had these fevers, like till so far, life just was about me. And from now on, it's going to be like, how can I give? How can I give? And
That's
that's when this big change came
that's
for me.
yeah.
So now I'm in the mode. I just want to give back because I realize like I had and have a very colorful life, and I am here to. I just want to share that with people, like what I did, where I came from. If I can do it, you can do that. You can do that. You know, you can do that,
Well, it sounds
and
nice.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And the fact that you made the decision to live in the tropics, that's also, I mean, wow.
Yeah, well, for me, I always wanted to be here. I remember the first time I came into Asia. I think it was 1990. I knew I wanted to live there, and then after been many places, many countries all over the years, and many places in Asia, I came here to this part in the Philippines, and I just fell in love. I'm here on a very simple island. It's called Samal. It's in opposite of Davao City, and Davao City is in the south, which is awesome because there's no tourists here, no tourists whatsoever, none, zero, none. It's a total local life with local people. It's very simple people, but people with no money in their pocket and they smile all day. I can learn so much from them. They're so beautiful, and we got an abundance of fruits here. This is the only place I know in the world where we got like every day of the year durian.
Wow.
Every day of the year I can get durian here.
I
Every
swear
day, fresh.
you went there because it's everyday durians.
Yes, yes. That's how it all started. That's
Yeah,
how it all started.
yeah. I can
That's how
really
it all started.
imagine. And
And then it ended up me falling in love with this place, and then it ended up with me buying some land, and now I built like it's like an open jungle loft. It's like a native loft combined with like an Amsterdam style living overlooking the sea and islands, and it's so crazy cool. It's extremely cool, and I can see myself when my book is going to take off. I can see myself doing retreats there with people to help people in their transitions and stuff like that into high vibrational living. Because, like I said, the food, it starts with the food, but there's so much more to it. The food just kickstarts the journey. That's how I see it. It kickstarts the journey.
it sounds so amazing. I love it.
It feels so amazing. You know, I feel like I'm 25. I've got this life energy going on. I'm excited. It feels like this whole new episode is opening up in my life. And I had this before. It feels like this is my third episode. My third episode. And they all came in cycles of 10 years. And every 10 years, I was doing what I wanted to do. And it all came to a point again like, do I still like this? And then changing it. And this is another one. This is another one. And it feels exciting. And I'm just embracing it. I'm ready for it.
So beautiful. You know, I would like to say maybe we should talk again in maybe half a year or in a year to see where you are again.
That should be cool. Yeah. Then the house is finished, and I can show you the house, which is awesome. It's going to be so high vibe kitchen and everything. It's the next. I've got my own creek with a waterfall next to the house. It's like, wow.
Oh my God.
So cool.
Okay. It sounds really beautiful. Love it. let us talk again, and let us keep this conversation for now for like this. Um, Chico, thank you. Thank you very much, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, it was nice talking to you too.